good day to you, all of you in YouTube land. I'm Dr. Beverly, your host, and this is the weekly Dancing Bear Enlightenment Academy podcast. Today, I will be my own guest speaker again, and I want to talk to you about energy systems and channeling and divine source light, which is an energy system that was gifted to me recently. So we're going to talk about divine source light energy system, and then we'll do a meditation with a transmission of the energy system. So if you want to receive this system, stay tuned, and I will transmit the empowerment at the end of this video. So over the past decades, Source has gifted me many, many different energy systems, and I give those to people in my workshops. Um, my first mystery school, the focus was on energy systems and meditation and the different kinds of meditation. My signature program, Om for Success, goes through a lot of the different types of meditations and when to use each type of meditation. I speak to a lot of people who say, oh, I already have the meditation that I like, and that's okay. But sometimes you go through a period where that meditation doesn't work. So what do you do? How do you normally do a quiet breath meditation or some kind of mantra meditation where you have to sit still and you've got monkey mind. What do you do? Well, that's what that workshop helps you with. And I have a master program, and in that program is where I give my energy systems. Reiki, most people know Reiki. That is not the only energy system around. A lot of people say, oh, I'm a master. Well, if you took a weekend workshop, that doesn't make you a master. And it's not the only energy system. There are many, many, many energy systems. And we're going to talk about that more later. In 2021, I had to go online with my teachings because in 2020, I had to shut down my office. I'm an acupuncturist and I used to give workshops in the lobby. And I had a weekly meditation group that would meet. And unfortunately, with COVID and a whole bunch of other things, I had to shut down my office. And then I was guided by Source to sell my house and move to a small town in Arizona. So that's what I've done. I'm now in a small town and I had to go online. So in 2020, I started to go online. I bought an app, Dancing Bear Enlightenment Academy. Some of you may have the app. And there's lots of courses in there, free courses. And I'm going to be adding a lot more now that I have the new upgrade installed. It took them several months and it's now live. So I will be adding lots of new courses and they're mostly very, very inexpensive, less than $25 for most of them. Some of them are only $11. They're either 11, 22, or a little bit more. Um, so in 2021, I began teaching my courses that I've been teaching for decades online. And when I put together my master program, I felt, well, humanity's going through a massive transformation. You may have noticed that. And if you haven't, you're probably not listening to this podcast because most of the people listening to this podcast are awake and they know about the transformation because that's the audience I want to reach. Are you a person that wants to make a difference in the world and are you helping other people? So it's those are the kind of people that I target. So if you're not awake, you're probably not even listening. But I wanted to help with that transformation and people's vibration is going up. We're no longer stuck the way we used to be a long time ago. And I think this transformation probably started around the 80s and it became intense in the 90s. And it's been going even more intense and more intense. And then the past 2 years have been 2020, 2021, absolutely incredible. And each month in 2022 seems to have amped up the energy and the changes. And I know that May has been very significant. And what I'm getting from astrologers that I follow is June and July are going to be even more intense. So it's not over with yet. So I asked the divine for a new energy system for my classes. It's called Diamond Source Light. And sometimes I call it Divine Source Light. And the reason that I called it Diamond Source Light is because when it first came through with my third eye, it was like a diamond. It wasn't the shape necessarily of a diamond, but it was this bright, intense, sparkling light. Like when you look into a really big, nicely cut diamond. I don't have one, but I'm sure you might have seen one that really sparkles, or even a nice, beautiful quartz crystal that has areas where when the light hits it just right, it will sparkle. And that's what it was like right in front of me. So I called it diamond source light, but being dyslexic, I sometimes just say divine source light. Um, and it's used in my master intuitive mystic program, which is for medical intuitive basics for holistic professionals. So what is a mystic? According to Google, I did the Google definition. I like to look up what words mean. They say as a noun, it is a person who claims to attain or believes in the possibility of attaining insight into mysteries transcending ordinary human knowledge, as by direct communication with the divine or immediate initiation in a state of spiritual ecstasy. Basically, there are intuitive, you've heard of intuitives, they're everywhere. They do all kinds of different readings, and even some people do intuitive astrology, intuitive this, intuitive that. So, what's the difference between an intuitive and a mystic? Well, a mystic tunes into source and stays tuned into source. So, everything they do, they validate through source. Whereas an intuitive will tune in, do the reading, and then they disconnect. Um, and so in the program, I basically teach you how to tune in and stay tuned in, how to be a mystic, in other words. And that's where we're all headed, whether you know it or not, is to tune in and be connected to divine source at all times. And it changes your life when you live that way. You live very, very different than when you live um, you're always in the moment, you're always connected, and you never take anything personal. It's a very different way of being in the world, and that's where we're headed, whether we know it or not. So, but first we have to clear our karma, and that's going on a lot right now, and it's going to become more and more intense in the next couple of months. So instead of just having this energy system for people that take my workshops, I've decided to just give it to everybody. Anybody who wants it, you watch this and you will get it based on some parameters. Um, but I want to talk about the difference between this and channeling. This is just bringing in device source. So you're connecting directly to source. You are not channeling. Channeling leads to glamours. So if you tune into my talk a couple weeks ago on the seven rays of God, you'll have an understanding of what glamours are. And you can read the book Tapestry of the God. It's available online in PDF format. You don't have to pay anything for it. There are 8 volumes. I suggest just volume 1, maybe volume 2 is all you need. They're thick, big, huge books in PDF format. It'll take you quite a while to read them. Um, or you can listen to my podcast, but I don't go into the glamours that much, but it it'll give you some information, Tapestry of the Gods. So at any rate, clients and students have asked me for more information because I use this energy with my clients as well because it's very powerful for many, many things. And so, because I also recommend people do a medical Qigong process twice a day, morning and evening, as part of their meditation and bringing in this divine energy to stay connected. I actually created a web page with a video on how to do the Qigong exercise. I'm not going to go through the Qigong right now because you can go to the web page. So it's divinesourcelight.com or diamondsourcelight.com. Since I keep calling it both names, I created both domain names. So if you go to diamondsourcelight.com or divinesourcelight.com, whichever name you prefer, there is a web page. It tells you all about the energy and it tells you how to do, there's a video that tells you how to do the Qigong. And the advantage of the Qigong is it's like getting an acupuncture treatment because it opens up and clears all your channels. So it removes blockages. Um, so it's an easy daily routine. You can do it sitting down and you don't have to know Qigong, and it doesn't conflict with any belief systems because I don't teach any dogma. Whatever your belief system is, whatever your culture, color, whatever, that's fine. I'm not trying to change anyone's belief system. Just incorporate it and the vocabulary into what you believe and works best for you. Um, it can be used for yourself. It can be used on other people, and it can be used for protection. So we're going to talk about some more of those things it can be used for. So if you have the empowerment, you can use it for healing clients. Um, I use it for working on myself, so you can use it for working on yourself, and you can use it for helping friends as long as you have their permission, of course. Things that it can do are spiritual cleaning, clearing, mental body healing, emotional body healing, physical body healing, and issues including pain. I had a sudden pain. Some of us have been going through that with all the changes. You just get a weird pain in your body. I immediately turned the energy on and pain was gone. It can detect areas in the body that need attention. And in the video, it shows you how to run your hands down along the body. And as you do, you'll find a spot where, oh, there's some kind of issue there. If you don't know how to do that, that's what I teach in my master class. You can use it for DNA repair, DNA upgrades. You can use it for protection. And every day that I use this energy, I'm finding more uses for it. It's very, very powerful because it has multiple frequencies. It's Reiki is like one frequency and that's it. And that's what you get. With this energy system, it's based on your intention for how you want to use it. So it's coming from source directly. And you say, okay, I want to repair DNA, I want to do this, I want to do that. So your intention and then your attention on where you want to work through, excuse me, will create that change in your essence because it isn't just physical. It's going to work on your astral, it's going to work on your causal body. So it's working on your entire aspect, not just your physical body. And my experience over the years is the more you work at the highest level, the spiritual level, it ripples down to the body. So if you keep your mind and your emotions intact, the physical body doesn't get sick. It only gets sick when you're either going against your soul, you're going against your mind, it's got negative stuff going on in there, or emotions, you're doing these negative reactions either to people or negative reactions to your own thoughts, whatever it is. This is what's creating the dis-ease in the body. And you can prevent that by working at the soul level down, working on the mental level, which is what meditation does, and working on the emotional level by learning not to take things personal. Because we're all one and we're here to learn and we're here to help each other. So how is this energy system different from Reiki? I meet so many people who say, oh, Reiki, it's the do all end all. When I was in California, I cannot tell you how many people came to me and said, I just had a Reiki treatment and I'm a mess. Because Reiki isn't always what you need. I've had people, well, I'm sorry, back up. In acupuncture, there is the notion of excess and deficiency. We don't have diseases as such. That's a Western medical thing. We look at the patterns and the whole person. And you could have a condition that's in excess, and frequently pain is an excess condition. And if you look at it scientifically, you have too many ions in that area of the body. So if you move the ions out of there to another area, the pain goes away. It's the Japanese use ion pumping cords, which I sometimes use in my clinic. If you use ion pumping cords, it moves the excess to another part of the body. And that's what blockages do. You'll have a blockage in one of your channels or meridians, whatever you want to call them, and the electrons can't flow through to the other side. So you have a deficiency in one area and an excess in another. Of course, what we try to do in acupuncture is figure out where the deficiency is, because a lot of times you have excess and deficiency together. And so when you run an energy that builds up the excess, it just makes the pain worse. Or if that's an easy example, it may not be a pain, it may be some other issue. You can really mess people up, you can mess up their chakras. So I don't recommend just doing Reiki. If you want to use Reiki, that's fine. I don't recommend it. There's too many other energy systems that I know that are so much better. That cats, I love Reiki for cats, but otherwise, bringing the energy through your body and then projecting it onto someone, this is not cool because you're bringing it through you. So all your stuff goes into them and all their stuff comes into you. And so when I have to help people, I have to clear all that out, pull all the cords, and then fill them up with an energy that is balancing for them and realign them. And that's why I don't like Reiki. And I've studied with many, many masters, two living Buddhas. And the one thing that I get from all of them is don't ever channel, and especially don't heal by bringing things through your body to others, whereas divine source light does not go through your body and out. It's just you're a physical plane conduit. It just goes from your hand chakra directly to the person. And you ground with the earth, you bring up the earth energy, then you bring down the divine source. So you have the masculine and the feminine, and then that energy is what goes into the other person or into you. So you're not using your own energy at all when you do this. Um, so the energy divine source light changes as needed and appropriate. The appropriate frequency is used. So we don't have one frequency. Frequently I hear people say, "Oh, there's the body has a frequency." No, we have multiple frequency. We have multiple beings in us. Every cell of our body has mitochondria. Mitochondria is its own being, it has its own DNA. We're dependent on mitochondria because the bulk of our energy comes from mitochondria. Glycolysis is one way of creating energy. It's called ATP in the body. And the ATP from glycolysis is very small. So if you're a small organism, that's fine. But if you want to be a big organism, like an elephant or a human or pretty much, I think all mammals have mitochondria because you need more energy. And so we use the mitochondria for the Krebs cycle, and it produces considerably more energy or ATP in the body. So those are beings that are in every cell. Then you go into the gut. We have trillions and trillions of live bacteria and fungus in our body, more than we have cells in our body. And we're dependent on them because they take our food, they break it down. They actually, in some cases, make vitamins. So some of our vitamins, it comes from the food because the bacteria breaks it down. So we're a collection of many, many, many living things, all with our own vibration. And for my PhD dissertation, I did frequency research on using light and sound for healing. And what I discovered was even every vertebrae has its own unique frequency. All our organs have its own frequency. Our blood has a frequency. Everything in the body has its own frequency. It's not just one frequency. So when you want to do a healing, you need the right frequencies or set of frequencies in order to do the healing. One of the challenges with using music is that's a frequency unless you've got some chords. Now you have multiple frequencies. Then when you add on light, now you have more frequencies. And that's why in healing, when you do layering, you add music and light and other things, you're adding multiple frequencies to create a healing environment. And that's what this divine source light energy does. It creates multiple frequencies based on your intention for the energy at the time. So I hope that wasn't too crazy an explanation and that you followed it. So when you're using the energy, you can feel the congestion in the body. So some people will see it with their third eye, others are more kinesthetic, or you may get a message, however you get your intuitive information. And as you're going down the body with your hands, you will notice where this congestion or issue is located. And that's when you use the energy. You just use the intention, okay, here's the issue, fix this here. And you can even do this for balancing, aligning, and harmonizing the chakras. So you can just do one chakra at a time and just clear and align the chakras and make sure they're open front to back and working properly. The energy also connects you directly to source, which is can be used in meditation as well as in your daily life. So you can tune into source, stay tuned into source. That's what a mystic does. And you can turn the energy on and leave it on all day. You can also, before you go to sleep at night, turn it on at night and tell it, I want you to give me a healing tonight and what you want. And tell it to run all night long. It's all, everything is by your intention. We're very powerful, whether we know it or not. And just use your intention and create whatever you want. Now, of course, I don't suggest using it for darkness or evil, only for good and for helping others. I'm not even sure you could use it for something negative. Oh, you can. Okay. So just make sure your intentions are always in your own and the other person's highest good. And that's how you can prevent accidentally doing anything negative. So when I first learned to stay connected to source for 24/7, in other words, full time, all day, all night, 7 days a week, the first day I was exhausted by the end of the day. It's intense and it's challenging. I'm not going to tell you it's easy, but after the first day, it just got easier and easier and easier. And eventually you just learn to stay connected. Um, when you are connected, you don't get depressed, you don't get sad. Um, you're always in the moment and you're always in a state of gratitude. I hear people saying, oh, you should write your gratitude every day and all this stuff. Or you just stay in a state of gratitude. Excuse me. If you're in a state of gratitude, you're not going to be sad. You're not going to be depressed. You're not going to worry about what's going on in the world. I mean, does the world need help? Oh, yeah. I pray for the world all the time because it's in deep trouble and it's getting worse, but it's an illusion and it's not you. And you say it's an illusion, but people are starving. It's true for them. They're not in that state of grace because I believe eventually we will learn how to not need food. Remember, it says in the Bible that someday the lions will lay down with the lamb? What that means is they no longer need to kill to eat. And there have been, over the years, a few people, mostly lamas, who have learned not to eat or even breathe because we can get the energy in through our chakras. And we're now learning about aether. Some people call it ether and spell it ether, but and I did in my book and found out it's actually AETHER and pronounced aether. And we have a toroid in our body. We actually have multiples, but there's one for the body, one for the brain, one for the heart, the belly, brain. So we have these toroids, and the aether comes in the top and out the bottom. That's the positive, negative um, energies. And it just comes in, we use it, comes out, and it keeps going like that in a circle, in and out, in and out. And when we learn how to harness that and bring it in through our chakras, we no longer need to eat or drink. So that's where we're headed. That's what. That's how we're going to get to higher densities. Um, and it just comes in through the body. Um, okay, so I have some notes here, and my current notes. I already talked about that, so I'm going to skip that. So we'll talk a little bit about channeling. Some people are actually not channeling. They say they're channeling, but they're actually using telepathy. And there's nothing wrong with telepathy. I highly recommend it. We have learned to use cell phones and computers and WhatsApp or whatever kind of technology that you're using to connect with people. And we actually don't need that. We can connect telepathically and we can remote view. Really? Yeah. Everybody can do it. I don't care who you are. You've just had all that turned off and you haven't been told about it. Our governments have been doing it for decades. They know all about it. They just don't want you to know about it. So I teach all that in my master class. It's not hard. It's easy to do. There's simple exercises that you can do that you can telepathically communicate with people. And you're probably doing it now and don't even notice because the phone rings and you know, oh, that's my friend. Or you answer the phone and you go, oh, I was just thinking about you, or whatever. That was a telepathic connection. And eventually you can do that with intention, and the other person will know that you've tuned into them and talk back. You can talk to animals, you can talk to things, trees. I even talk to rocks. Everything is intelligent, everything has divine in it. And through that divine connection, you can communicate. So it creates a whole different world when all of a sudden you're talking to everyone because we're not separate. I've had 5 near-death experiences. The first one was I almost bled to death when my daughter was born. And that was different. And one was part of my shamanic training initiation. But the other 3 were close together. And it really woke me up because I was an atheist at the time. And I realized that I was going to die because Western medicine was not helping me. And they couldn't tell me what was wrong. And I knew that on the path I was on, I would die. So I had to change. And I went to a doctor I trusted, and he said, you need to meditate. And I thought, meditate? Ugh. But I thought, I've got nothing to lose. And it changed my life when I started meditating because immediately I was connected to divine. I knew there was a God, not not the typical God most people think of, but it's this divine consciousness that's everywhere. I think the Native Americans call it Great Spirit, and there's many spirits out there. There's not just one. But there is the Great Spirit or the divine or the highest level that's the consciousness of all. And once I tuned into that, my life changed. And that's when I started teaching meditation because I'm passionate that everyone should learn how to meditate, whether you call it self hypnosis or guided imagery or prayer or whatever you want to call it. You're putting the brain in that same state. And my mission is to help as many people find that as possible. And now I want to help as many people as possible to learn how to self heal and heal their families. It's getting a little bit crazy. I'm not going to go into politics and stuff, but I know a lot of people are really challenged with healthcare and medicine and finances. And so if in some way this light will help you to heal and to feel better and help your families and your friends, then that's my goal. And this YouTube is free, so I'm giving this to everybody. Divine gave it to me. So we talked a little bit about the glamours. If you want to know more, my podcast on May 8th goes into the glamours and the seven rays of God. So if you're ready, then I will transmit the oh, I didn't have my mic near me. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm going to transmit the divine source light energy system. So with transmissions, I need your permission. So you can do the meditation with us, even if you don't want the initiation. That's fine. If you want the initiation, you have to specifically tell your higher self you want it. My experience is sometimes people will tell their higher self that they want it and they still don't get it. Why? Um, you don't get it for one of two reasons. One is consciously you say, yeah, I want it, but subconsciously you're going, no, I don't think I want this, or something's going on subconsciously. Or your higher self says, no, this is not in your highest good. Because whenever I transmit any initiation, and I transmit a lot of them in all my workshops, I always say, in their highest good at this point in time. If it is not in your highest good, even though you say conscious and subconsciously you want it, you will not receive it because your soul won't let it go through. So it's a soul to soul transmission. So I suggest you tune into your soul, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, and see if you're supposed to get the transmission. And if you're not, and you don't want to do the meditation with us, then fine, just go ahead and click off. If you want to do the meditation, but you don't want the initiation, that's fine too. And if you want the initiation and your higher self has said, yes, it's in your highest good at this time, then I will send it during the meditation. So let's see here. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So I have some music. Hopefully you're going to hear this music. Sometimes when I play music, people don't hear it. Hopefully this is going to come through. So if you're driving or using heavy equipment, please stop. This is only for people who are able to go into their sacred space. And this music has binaural beats. So if you have a headset, that will be better. So go ahead and either sit or lie down. Put your feet flat on the floor if you're sitting, and ground yourself. And then just relax. Allow the worries and concerns of the day just float away. They are not important at this time. Allow your feet to connect directly to Mother Earth and to feel grounded and to feel her energy coming up into your body through the roots of your feet going into the ground deep within the belly of the earth. Feel her yin energy moving up into your body. And now we connect to our sun and ask for his yang energy to come down through our crown chakra and into our body. And as these energies come through our body, they ground us, they balance us, they center us. And when they meet at our heart, they are combined into a full energy of yin and yang. The masculine and the feminine is one. we send this energy out to every cell of our body to balance, align, harmonize, and rejuvenate us. And we balance, align, and harmonize all 7 chakras. And as they are balanced and aligned, we can feel our rainbow bridge, which some people call Kundalini, running up the spine and circulating back around the body. It goes up and down, up and down. And we feel our toroidal energies of our body, of our mind, of our heart, and our belly brain. And they are in unison. Our mind and heart are as one. And our emotions are filtered and controlled by our loving heart to create compassion. We no longer are fearful of anything, for we know all is in divine order. And now, if you wish to receive the divine source empowerment, I will transmit the empowerment for all those who wish to receive it by their intention, and it is in their highest good at this point in time. Rub your hands together, hold them in front of you to feel the earth energy come up into your hands. And hold your hands to the side until your fingers tingle. And then you can just use your hands to go down your body and scan for any area that needs your attention, whether it's your physical body, your astral body, your causal body, if it's a pain, if it's an emotional issue, whatever it is you're feeling, allow the energy to go into that space, even if it's one of your chakras that you feel has an issue, or any part of your body or being. Just allow that energy to go in, remembering to always set your intention, because you can use this for DNA repair, for physical issues, mental, emotional, and then you can put yourself in a bubble of energy. So this would be 360 sphere all the way around you, under your feet, over your head, to the side. And you want to go out at least 3 feet, because at least in the United States or Western cultures, personal space is considered 3 feet out. If you want to go a little further out, that's okay. And you just set the intention that no negative energy can come in or leave through your bubble. And if you like, you can just leave that energy turned on all day long. And when you forget about it, just turn it back on again. And of course, turn it on again at night, turn it on again in the morning, and do the exercises which you can find opensourcelight.com with a video. Sorry about my alarm. So go ahead and come back into your body. That was awful. Um, Hopefully that didn't shock you too much. So I want to thank you for listening. Next week we will have a guest speaker. And remember to be the light you want to see in the world.